Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Second video of the day, this time to debrief about the words of Max Allegri before Juventus Cagliari. And take it with a grain of salt, of course, it's a joke, but looks like if one day, you never know, Max Allegri is not able to attend to a press conference because he's sick at home, I don't know. Well, if they need someone, I'm sure I can do it. I can do it. Why? Because he spoke about a lot of topics that we already anticipated here on the channel. For example, the name of the captain of tomorrow, without Danilo, without Alexandro, without Adrien Rabiot. Something that we already anticipated here, that we already told you since a few days. Then he spoke about the importance of the second lines. You know, yesterday I made a video, anti-hero Juve. Well, looks like Max Allegri yesterday evening, he had nothing to do, and he watched the video, speaking and praising these second lines, and especially also the importance of the game of tomorrow. That the most important game is not the one of the 26th of November, but the one of tomorrow. I will tell you why. We'll speak also about the change of possible system. Why? Because it's something that he said between one and another sentence, and I'm not sure that a lot of people watching and listening to the press conference, they noticed it. So, attenzione, interesting press conference today. Before, of course, entering into details, I'm asking you, as all the content creators are doing, and I know that you are bored to listen every time the same thing, but put a maximum of like, you know it. More likes, more YouTube is thinking that you are appreciated the work of Beppe, of GJustjuve, more YouTube wants to share the video with other people, with maybe new Juventini that would enter that fantastic community, because I repeat it, we have a fantastic community. We start. What did he say, Max Allegri? Well, he said, I already told the guys, I ragazzi, that we must play tomorrow a humble game. We need also to respect Cagliari. The important game is tomorrow. Otherwise, we will throw away everything that we did previously. And these are reminding me a bit what I told you a few days ago. I told you that it's beautiful, the narrative, it's really romantic to speak about the Scudetto race that is at the moment only between Juve and Inter, which I love. Of course I love it. Historical rivalry, again, Juventus competing for a title. But ragazzi, calma, because you know it. And I hope it will not happen, but a loss tomorrow against Cagliari, and Juventus is at -5 potentially from Inter. And you know what's the problem? That the other one behind, they are all close and they will come back. Milan could come back at -1, for example, and you are reopening that top 4 race, which would be a total disaster. And that's why I totally agree when he's saying the important game is the one of tomorrow. I repeated it million times, and I want to really underline it again. But then he continued saying, the game of Cagliari tomorrow is not difficult because maybe we will think about Inter and it's far away and we will not be focused about the game against the Rossoblu. No, he said it is difficult because it's right after that we come from a really beautiful positive streak of win and we could lower our focus. Do you remember that game of Sassuolo? Today I saw a different Allegri. It was not the Allegri that is coming to send a message to his teams saying, I feel too much enthusiasm, pay attention. No, he's saying, don't think about Inter, first Cagliari. And I already told the guys, because otherwise it could be dangerous. We won a few games in a row, but we did nothing. And that's important. Then he continued saying, the importance of the win tomorrow is, first of all, to close a beautiful streak, a mini streak of victories right before the international break, but also for the ranking. And there is, again, repeating that we are not facing Inter at the moment, but that we are paying attention to the 5th one. Not even the 3rd or the 3rd in the ranking, but the 5th one. Winning tomorrow is important because you go and you keep that distance, or you go even higher with the distance between the 2nd, that is Juventus, and the 5th that could potentially be there to annoy the ranking in top 4 to qualify for the next Champions League. Then there was a question about future leaders. I don't know why, about youth team. He said, he's speaking about these future leaders. I don't know. It's not something that you can plan. It's not something, that the coach is deciding you are the leader or you are the leader. It's something that is coming totally normally. But he spoke about the captain of tomorrow because the question came straight away. And he said, tomorrow the captain is Manuel Locatelli. He also just renewed yesterday. So it's also a beautiful gift for him. Ragazzi, I told you here on the channel. Initially, I was thinking probably Szczesny could have been, maybe Rogani, and you know that there were 3 players that could have fulfilled that role of being captain tomorrow, Rogani, Szczesny, and Locatelli. But then I tried to think and I said, who is and who was the vice captain against Fiorentina? The vice captain on the official sheet was Locatelli. So for me, it was a continuity of that. And I'm super happy that tomorrow Locatelli will start his first game as a captain. I'm super happy for him. Again, it's a beautiful gift, but it's not just, like when I was a kid, for example, and I was playing football. When I was 8, I believe, the coaches, they have a system like, the one that is celebrating the birthday, they received the captain armband. That was nice, of course, because I was captain then on the 11th of October. This is not happening with the first team. It's not just, you renewed here. Otherwise, Gatti would have been the captain as well. But it's true that, underlining it, renewing it, the beautiful performances, the importance of leadership that is growing. Locatelli. No, I'm happy about that. And again, for me and for the people that are following the channel, it's not a surprise. He spoke also about the other ones, about Perin. He said, well, at the moment, Szczesny is playing. Unfortunately, we are playing once a week. So the players, they have time to recuperate. There is unfortunately less opportunities to play, even if it's a pity for a player like Perin, that today, by the way, is celebrating his birthday, because he's an extraordinary goalkeeper. He said he became an extraordinary goalkeeper, but we know it with once a game there is less chance for turnover. Hopefully, and then the guys, they know it, that we have to qualify for European competition, for Champions League, so that next year all of them have more opportunities to play. He spoke also about other players. Heisen, that was, of course, after who would be the captain. That was also, of course, the big question. Will Heisen start the game of tomorrow? Well, the question was, now that Gatti is at risk of suspension, 1 yellow card, and he will miss Inter, is Heisen the one that will start? He said no. We are in a moment where we can't do calculation, we can't just plan, we can't just risk. Gatti is reliable, Gatti will play tomorrow, and Heisen, his time will come. He didn't say that Heisen would not play. He said Gatti will start tomorrow. So will there be time for Heisen? Maybe. Otherwise, ragazzi, if there is a yellow card for Gatti, without Danilo, because this has been confirmed today in press conference that will not be there tomorrow, and maybe not even after the international break against Inter. Alexandro and Weah will be back probably against Inter after an international break, but maybe Heisen could start against Inter his first game from the start, because he already started against Milan, so he could play against the two teams from the Derby della Madonnina against Milan. First entry, maybe the first start against Inter. Let's see. I'm really curious about that one. He spoke about other players, about Ealing Jr. and Cambiaso. Why? Because we were speaking about the midfield, and that's where we are speaking about a possible change of formation. Why? Because when he received these questions, he said we have 4 midfielders that are Locatelli, Miretti, and McKennie. Then he said also we have Nicolussi and Nonje. Nonje, that is doing much better. Last week he improved a lot. He showed also a really great, or this week actually, really beautiful training session. So attenzione, because that's really great. When he said like 2 weeks ago that Nonje was a player with a lot of potential, but he was not ready yet, well, you see maybe a change of behavior, intensity, concentration, maybe also self-awareness that is deserving also to be there in that first team, like now it's official Heisen and Kenan Yildiz are. So you see that's beautiful also from Max Allegri to underline what players are doing in that training session. But he said with Ealing Jr. and Cambiaso, without Rabiot, we could probably see Weston McKennie again in the middle of the field and Cambiaso on the right side. Cambiaso or Ealing, because that's the fun thing. He also mentioned a bit Ealing that could play potentially on the right side. And then he said, or I can change system tomorrow. Who knows? Well, system changing. Where could we go towards? Maybe a 3-4-3 tomorrow. Maybe a 3-4-1-2. Maybe a 4-man defense. I don't know what he had in mind. But changing a system to surprise Cagliari, and maybe to pay attention that without Rabiot, with Gatti at risk, we don't want to go towards a one-on-one on Gatti. Maybe we want to give him a bit of assistance. Who knows, tomorrow you go with a Weston McKennie that plays in the back as a right back, 4-4-2. Could be, everything could be. And that was, in the press conference, the thing that made me actually the most curious about. Because normally, knowing Max, it's not a guy that is just speaking for speaking. If he said, or tomorrow I can change eventually system, It's not a promise, but it means that he's thinking about it. That there could be, or from the start, or from the middle of the game, something like that. Who knows? Maybe a Kenan Yildiz. I don't know. But pay attention for that. Then he spoke about the strikers up front who will start tomorrow. He said, I have to decide. But they are feeling well. And here, when he's speaking about the strikers, he's also saying something else. The players, not speaking about one individual, but the players, when he's speaking about the strikers, they have to put aside their individual objectives, something that I already told them, and I repeat them. Put aside the individual objectives, but think only about the good of the team. It's not a mystery. It's not a coincidence that he's speaking about it when he's speaking about the strikers. Why? Because we know it. If a defender tries to go with clean sheets but playing well, if a midfielder is going with playing well, giving support defensively, offensively, whatever, the strikers, they are living for the goal. Look at a lot of players, but for example, now Dusan Vlahovic, that when he's not scoring for 2-3 goals, he's going a bit into depression. So thinking about the team more than thinking individually. Who will start tomorrow? I don't know. I would personally put Vlahovic and Chiesa to start because they need again to go back to their level of the first 4 games of the season. Let's see. Then he said I didn't speak about Mercato with the management. Is it true or not? I don't know, but you know it, he will never speak about it. But he said in this moment, the most important thing is that the group is cohesive. At the moment, the group has to be cohesive and is cohesive. We have a granite team, so really solid, and we are working to become even stronger. The strength of the teams are the second lines. Do you remember the video of yesterday? In the sense, the ones that are playing less minutes. During the training sessions, they keep the concentration and the intensity really high. And that's important, and we must continue like that. These were the important things that Max Allegri said. What I keep in mind is that really he went into the locker room and he said, ragazzi, don't read the papers, pay attention, because the real game that we have to win is the one of tomorrow against Cagliari. Otherwise, everything that you did well, the clean sheets, the wins, your points, whatever you did well, it will just be thrown away. The captain is Locatelli, important, also him. Making a step higher, leadership, important. Tomorrow I want to see Locatelli speaking with his guys because he's a real bianconero in heart. And I want to see that he's able to share that with everyone. He spoke about Heisen. Wait, don't risk. Again, to underline the importance of tomorrow. We know it. Heisen is part of the team. He will not be, again, considered like the next-gen player, but the right moment for the right kids. And then that change of model. Tomorrow that's what makes me really curious. Will we tomorrow see something that none of us are expecting? I'm curious. We will discover it tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. While you will watching, I will probably be there in the rain, in the cold, in the night, training the kids because it's a training session with the under 9. This has been recorded a few hours ago. So hopefully you really enjoyed it and that you arrived in the end. So maximum of like. Grazie, forza. Juve.